Now we have a session, the digitalization of literary cultures and the reconfiguration of authorship. May I request our guests to kindly come on the dais. Professor Milind Sudhakar Marathe, Anna Babina from Russian Federation, and Mr. Javlon Jovliyev, the Republic of Uzbekistan. Ms. Saloni Mittal and Shri Kumar Vikram. Thank you.
As per the custom of NBT, I would like to felicitate our guest. So I request Mr. Shri Kumar Vikram, the Nodal Officer of the SCO Young Authors Conference from NBT, to kindly felicitate Mr. Javlon Jovliyev from Republic of Uzbekistan. And I also request Mr. Kumar Vikram to kindly felicitate Ms. Anna Babina from Russia Federation. Thank you. Now I hand over the stage to Sri Kumar Vikram to kindly begin the literary session. Thank you.
Thank you. So we now come to the first technical or academic session of this SCO Young Authors Conference. This is focused on writing and publishing, and that is the theme of the session. And the focus is the digitalization of literary cultures and the reconfiguration of authorship. So, as the entire conference is focused on how the digital innovations and technological innovations are impacting different aspects and different fields of creative spaces. In this session, we are going to discuss the impact that it has created and the likely impact that it is going to create in future on the entire act of writing, reading, publishing, and how it is going to create new perspectives, and how it is already creating new perspectives. There are, of course, issues of there are concerns and there are challenges, maybe about the copyright issue, maybe about the piracy issues, as every day we keep hearing about how AI is impacting our day-to-day life. But I believe that there are not only challenges but a lot of opportunities, and these are some of the issues that I believe we will be taking up. We had for this session Mr. Zhan Zhicai from China. He was going to make a presentation but due to some reschedule of flights, he couldn't be here on time, but he has sent his video speech, which we would like to first play. In the meanwhile, I would like to introduce Mr. Zhan Zhicai in absentia. He writes with the pen name Han Meng, and he is the Vice Secretary General of Guangdong Provincial Internet Writers Association, and he's a graduate from the Department of English, the School of International Studies, Sun Yat-sen University, and he writes content online. So may I request the technical team to kindly play the video speech of Mr.
Thank
Zhang.
you, Mr. Host, and thank you to the organizers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Second Biennial Young Authors Conference. This is Zhan Zhicai from China. I'm very sorry that I failed to arrive at the scene due to some complicated circumstance. But thinking about it another way, it is quite interesting the way I am speaking through the video. Isn't this exactly in line with our discussion topic today, the digital publishing? Before I share my story, please allow me to ask you a question. How did your first writing experience begin? For me, it all began in third grade with a mandatory school diary. At first, I hated it. Every entry felt like a copy-paste. Wake up, eat breakfast, go to school, do homework, go to bed, day after day. Same old routine. Is that boring? Absolutely. But I have to finish the assignment. So I rebelled by turning my plain diary into a fantasy epic. I pretend I was a general from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. You could think of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms as China's version of the Mahabharata. In my diary, I lead army into grand battles. Those diary entries weren't just homework anymore. They became my secret playground. After graduating from university, I worked at CMA-CGM, a French shipping giant. CMA-CGM also has 21 offices in India. I have checked it. By day, I was knee-deep in shipping logistics. By night, I wrote network novels, pouring my free time into stories bunching around my head. Around 2014 was a turning point. China's internet was developing at lightning speed, and with it became a wave of online novel platforms. Suddenly, ordinary people like me could hit publish and share our work with the world. Not big gates to climb over. I wanted to write something that felt personal. So I picked a niche theme, a single dad raising his daughter. At that time, I was young, single, and curious about parenting. But I love kids. I enjoy watching their cute little ways, and secretly hoped to have a daughter someday. Unexpectedly, my second book, The Art of Dad's Life, became a hit in 2017, and it sparked an entire new genre in online novel called stay-at-home dad fiction. Readers went crazy for the little girl Sissy in my story, even more than her dad, who is the main character. To this day, fans still message me telling me that their own daughters reminds them of CC. And here is the best part. Life immediated up. Now, I'm married, and I have two adorable daughters of my own. Dreams really do come true. Last year, I decided to sweep things up and write sport stories. During the Paris Olympics, I painted Discipline Wings, a book about an amateur athlete chasing his dreams in marathons and cycling rides. Wait, daughter and sport. Isn't that dangerous formula? Yes, I'm a big fan of Amir Khan. Looking back, I didn't even realize it at that time, but his films had quietly filled me with countless sparks of inspiration. What meant the most to me, readers told me that book pushed them to start running. Some even set their sights on marathons now. The irony, when I was writing it, I could barely run 3 kilometers myself. But just like my dad life fantasy, I hold it on this dream too, hoping one day I will be able to keep up with those readers I inspired. The advent of digital publishing has opened the door for ordinary people to tell their own stories, whether in China, India, or the land of the East and the West. Our voices can transcend geographical boundaries and be heard by more people, for we are all human beings sharing similar emotions and inherently part of community with a shared future. I hope that literature in digital age can convey more warm, positive energy. Admittedly, reality can be harsh at times, but the world is never short of glimmers of hope. The golden sunlight, blooming of flowers, the clear laughter of children, and the health we can strive for with our own hands. Even in tragic works like Anna Karenina and Dreams of the Red Chamber, we can still understand the deepest yearning of society, a longing for love, freedom, and a better future. And when we pick up our pens to write, it is precisely to build vivid words, adding a touch more brightness and warmth to our real life. At the end of my speech, I would like to share one more little story. Just last week, my 5-year-old daughter came to me. "Daddy, my diary is so boring," she said. "Every day is the same." I smiled and told her, "Then grab your pen and write an imaginative story. Create a magical world you like." Thank you all.
Thank you. I think since we are discussing technological innovation, so this is also one way of, we are experiencing it. He couldn't be here, but his message is with us through the video speech. I would also like to inform that Ms. Saloni Mittal has now joined us, and we have discussants, 3 discussants also, Ritika Gandhir, Faizi Abdul Kalam, and Asmita Pandey. So the format is that after they have made their presentations, the discussants will be making some remarks, maybe some questions, and which the speakers are expected to respond to. Our next presenter is Mr. Javlon Jovliyev from the Republic of Uzbekistan. He is a writer, playwright, and has a PhD in philology. He is the author of the acclaimed novel Do Not Fear, which was awarded Book of the Year in 2021. In recognition of his literary achievements, he was awarded many awards, including the Golden Reed Prize. His published works include short story collections such as Two Hearts Meeting, My Mother and the Universe, and Loba, Loba, My Loba. His drama Hot Snow was successfully staged at the Mukimi Musical Drama Theatre. His works have been translated into multiple languages, including English, Russian, Turkish, Persian, Kazakh, and Azerbaijani. Welcome to Mr. Javlon Jovliyev. I think he has a presentation to make for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, dear friends. I want to begin with the words of the great Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi. An effort and an end at making the whole world blend. I believe these words are very important for all people today. My my homeland is Uzbekistan. It is one of the oldest lands in Central Asia. Here we have beautiful cities like Khiva, Samarkand, and Bukhara. Here have beautiful, if you visit these places, you will see amazing buildings through works of art. Only a creative nation could build such cities. And the building is also show the friendship of many nations and cultures. Since it's so time, writing literature has always lived in our land. Its words people wrote on wood, on stone, even on bones. These writings show it one dream, to make the world more beautiful and more fair. In the 1920s, many of our writers suffered repression. Some were killed, many were silenced. It was as if a system fought against Uzbek literature itself, but literatures did not die. It survived and it is lives today. Now we have more than 1,000 active writers and 9 creative schools. Our young people can learn about books and writing. After independence in 1991, when our literature became free again, writers could choose their own topics. Many turned to history for inspiration. Today, Uzbekistan have more than 1,000 publishing houses. Every year, around 11,000 new books are published. Special attention is given to children's and young people's literature. We also started 1,000 books project. 1,000 books project which translates the best world classics and Uzbek. The Mutala platform has begun to visit books and audiobooks. Today, more than 3 million people use it. Two Emro translations were created Agahi International Press. Across the country, there are more than 700 bookshops. At the National Library, meetings are organized with famous writers and poets. There are also discussions about publishing, translation, and international cooperation. The International Book Fair, Tashkent Book Fest, takes place each year, and presently we also started the International Children's Literature Fair. On the 2022, Uzbekistan became embryo by the International World and Book of Young People. Tashkent Book Fest. Dear friends, the writers and poets live in one world. One must do our best to make the world peaceful, friendly, and happy. As the great writer Lev Tolstoy said in his novel War and Peace, if Ukraine fought for their own convictions, there would be no war. So, if we all join hands for peace and friendship, our hand will never be empty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. We had some insight into the publishing scenario in Uzbekistan, and maybe there would be a few queries that will give us more clarity. So our next presenter is Ms. Anna Babina. She graduated from the law faculty at St. Petersburg State University in 2014 and started a law practice. In 2018, she tried her hand at creative writing. She is a laureate of the Pushkin Lyceum Literary Prize, winner of the Travedra Art Cluster Publishing Program, and the laureate of Russian and international literary competitions. She is the author of the novels Presumption of Guilt and Signs of Indifference, and the storybook The Coefficient of Adhesion. Her stories and novels have been published in Russian literary magazines. Thank you.
Good day. I am Anna Babina from Russia. My gratitude to Hospital India and to Moscow City Organization of the Union of Writers of Russia. I always worry a bit about public speaking. Excuse my anxiety, please. Today, all fields of knowledge face the phenomenon of the digitalization. It's our reality. We are witnessing the expansion of digital tools in almost every area of our lives. As for creating writing, the main problem is that the kind of activity is firmly connected to author's personality. At home, I've got a smart speaker with voice assistant called Alisa. When I asked if she or it could write a poem, she answered, "I tried, but I can't do." Alisa is not so advanced, but I know that in Netherlands, a robot has already completed writing a sequel to Isaac Asimov, I, Robot. The problem of the artificial intelligence is under active consideration. My colleagues who are the proponents of AI implementation think that AI is the universal tool which facilitates our working routine. As for me, it's dangerous ground because first, AI is trained by a human being. That's why AI acquires his trainer's features. In literature, this problem is crucial because thus our text can lose the individuality. In 2023, a letter signed by 8,000 of writers, including literature celebrities such as Margaret Atwood or Susan Collins, was circulated in the internet. Writers were speaking out against using of their books to train AI models, especially because of the copyright. On the other hand, in Russia, the IT company Yandex started up a school for AI trainers. One of the first AI trainers was writer and screenwriter Ragim Jafarov. Trainers' duties included creating new texts, spell checking, fact checking, and researching foreign sources. Personally, I think that a good text always is a kind of dialogue between me and my reader. Well, a book is neither a word salad nor a soulless system. Besides, AI tends to make lots of mistakes. In addition to my writer's career, I am practicing family law. Now, as you know, when you enter a question, Google AI sums up information and gives you a short summary. Well, in legal question, AI is the real layman. Now I can't replace human even in searching the necessary rule of law. Some of us believe that AI is the first step to the death of authorship. In my opinion, such an absolutization is another extreme. AI should become our friend and assistant. The collection of short stories named Trying to Wake Up was published in Russia in 2020. The distinctive feature of these stories was that they were written co-authorship with artificial intelligence. The book contains 24 texts. Half of them were written by writer and artist Pavel Pepperstein himself. The other half was generated by the neural network RuGPT-3, based on the analysis of the author's previous works and pieces from his interviews. Pavel said that the text written by AI were similar to his own text. But in fact, Trying to Wake Up was not a literature work because Pavel is, first of all, a performance artist. In 2024, the group of Russian writing writers created the collection of short stories named Mechanical Invention. According to the conditions of the experiment, there were no technical assignments or hints about the nature of work with language model. This book was named a model of the modern literature approaches, but ordinary readers continue turning to text written by human beings. Artificial intelligence has mastered the art of copying, repeating, imitating, and summing up humans' experience. But I believe that literature and any other art forms must contain something more. We can name it the divine spark or the impression of the human individuality, but one thing is certain. Development is infinite for the human being only. The sky is the limit. AI is only a tool like a typewriter or a pencil. When you are experiencing a creative crisis or disappointment, a neural network can simply suggest a great idea. AI allows for in-depth analysis of works, identifying key themes, stylistic elements, and literature devices. You can generate some ideas or try to sum up available information, but after all, nobody does it better than you do. It seems to me that the tricks with AI are suitable for professionals, not for beginners. When you started your literature career, it's really important to develop your own unique style. Abuse of AI may lead to imitating someone else's style. Literature is not only about a compelling narrative. It's about your own writing style. Our literature mentors always warn us against being copycats, encourage us to express ourselves. On the top of that, as a lawyer, I have to think about copyright. We didn't come to a consensus on the solution of this situation. According to our national legislation, artificial intelligence doesn't have any copyright because it's not a legal entity. To sum up, it seems to me that the best role of AI is to integrate, to minimize separation and disconnect between different cultures. For example, it can assist us learning language and culture. I have seen the term digital tribe used to refer to people who are a part of a single virtual community. I think that the best solution lies to the surface. As young authors, we must become a single community to form a unified, friendly, and safe cultural space. Thank you. Спасибо.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your interesting take. Now, I have the pleasure to invite Ms. Saloni Mittal for her presentation. She is the managing editor at Penguin Random House India with more than 14 years of experience in editing books, writing, commissioning and editing reports, columns and features for newspapers. She has sent more than 250 books to press, commissioned and edited reports, and written news stories for two major national dailies, Mint Lounge and the New Indian Express. Ms. Saloni Mittal.
Hi, right. So digital publishing is revolutionizing the literary landscape today, reshaping traditional publishing models and fostering new avenues for authorship. The rise of self-publishing platforms and AI-generated content has brought both opportunities and challenges to the forefront as we see it in the publishing world, and it has altered the way we generate, create, and vet content. So I think the first thing that has happened is that it has democratized content, right, where there is more global exchange now. Online platforms have reduced barriers for diverse voices and enabled global literary exchange. Traditional gatekeeping practices are being challenged, allowing authors to directly connect with readers without the approval of conventional publishing houses. So if you, earlier you would probably need a stamp by a big publisher like Penguin to get your stories across to your readers, but today you can publish it on social media, you can publish it on Instagram if you've written a poem, and you'll get instant gratification, right? You'll get 5 likes or 10 likes, or somebody will say, oh, this does not resonate with me, or I don't like to read this kind of poetry, or if you can go ahead and publish your work on Amazon, and that makes you a publisher, an author overnight. This shift has reduced costs because it is very expensive to publish books. There is a lot goes into it. So you have your editing, your advances, you have to typeset the book, but this does not need anything. You can just publish your stories online for free. And it also amplifies sort of different perspectives, perspectives from different states, from different walks of life, and it fosters literary diversity. So that is a positive point, but how we see it in the publishing world is that it has also sort of presented us with an equal number of challenges. So while digital platforms offer freedom and empowerment, it's very empowering to get your voice out there, traditional publishing maintains rigorous editorial standards. Manuscripts undergo meticulous vetting by editorial teams to ensure quality, political balance, and sensitivity towards societal sentiments. So I'll quickly take you through the process we follow at Penguin Random House India when a manuscript is presented to us by a potential author, right? So, you want to write a book, you send your book proposal to a commissioning editor. Now what happens is that the commissioning editor presents it to a room full of editors who listen to your idea, who see how balanced your account is. And this is particularly true for non-fiction accounts. And given the political climate of our country, it is very important to sort of put out balanced accounts, right? Because this can also incite and spread hatred. So this is what we do, right? As editors, we listen to the the potential author's pitch. We see what they have written, and what this entails, how this is viable for our readers as well, because in the end it's a business, and how we will, how will we be able to sort of sell this as a successful product. So, so I think that is one of the most important points for us, is to ensure a balanced narrative and not lopsided accounts. And once that happens, so once we decide to put our weight behind an idea or a proposal, it goes on to the next step, right, where it goes into something called acquisitions, where there are more stakeholders involved. You have your sales team, your marketing team, and there again, so it's a rigorous, what I want to say is that it's a rigorous sort of procedure. It's not that we get a manuscript and, the next day it's in the press. It doesn't work like that, right? So then you have more people sort of voicing their opinion on what is being presented. And of course, language is a very important part here, right? So we grew up reading classics, right? In India, I think a lot of sort of emphasis was given on good language when we were in school. And that, I think that really sort of formed how we speak to our peers today, and how we sort of, it has formed our worldview. But I feel that if, the young people of today, if they're going to consume content like junk food, right? It's hamburgers for their brain. You just open something and you read it. Who is to say what they're reading, how it's going to add to their knowledge base? And so we have to understand that literature is just not entertainment. It is also education. So that is something, because content has become so sort of you have content everywhere now. You open Instagram, you can go through 10 reels, right? So then the next step is content sensitivity, and that's where our legal team comes in, right? It's just not us editors. We also have a team of lawyers who vet the content, and especially if it's like a political book, we make sure that everything that Penguin Random House puts out, it doesn't sort of instigate our readers, or spread hatred amongst them, or our ideologies are not lopsided. So I think that's a very important part of it. And we also fact check everything that we are putting out. So once it goes into the editing stage, copy editors not only make sure that your language is correct, that it flows well, and there are no sort of loopholes in your story. We also make sure that everything that you're saying, everything that you're reading has been factually vetted by a group of professionals. But unlike traditional publishing, self-publishing allows authors to release content without any stringent editorial checks. This freedom, while empowering, can lead to the dissemination of unchecked, biased, or potentially harmful content. Similarly, AI-generated content raises concerns about authenticity, factual accuracy, and ethical implications. And what do we want to do as traditional publishers? We are in the business of telling stories. We want to tell good stories. We don't want to tell copied stories. And that's what AI-generated content does. If you're writing a book about your life, and something you experienced with your mother when you were a small child, that experience is exclusive to you. No AI software can sort of mimic that. It can once it has gone online, right? Once you have written it and it's online, maybe it will mimic it and create a parallel story. But if it has never been written, that is your story to tell. And I think that's why human touch is so empowering. I earlier said that self-publishing and AI content, generated content is empowering, but I think human touch is more empowering, because those are your stories and only yours to tell. So I think publishing houses like Penguin invest significant resources in ensuring credibility in their productions, and their rigorous processes offer credibility and trust. You know, when you pick up a book published by Penguin, you know that, you know, this has gone through scrutiny. You know what you are buying is something that has been vetted, something that has been edited, something that has been read by, you know, more than, I don't know, 10 people, and only then it has come to you. Then it's our ethical responsibility as publishers to safeguard against content that could incite hatred, spread misinformation, or harm societal harmony, which I think is a very important point. And of course, then we also provide legal protection to our authors, where our legal teams are involved, and if you do get into any kind of legal trouble tomorrow, of course, we make sure that there are no legal repercussions to all the content that we put out, but if there is, then we back you up and we give you that protection. So I think in conclusion, I want to say that while digital publishing fosters literary freedom and global connectivity, it also presents challenges related to content integrity and societal impact. Traditional publishers continue to play a critical role in maintaining these standards, ensuring that literature not only entertains, but also educates and unite. And you know, in this world that is increasingly shaped by AI, at Penguin we continue to place creativity and human touch at the heart of everything we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for, I would say, striking a note of caution, and also, you know, as a professional, we need to be careful about all these legalities and the copyright issues, and also careful about the fact that ultimately it's the human creativity that needs to be protected, and the technological innovations can sort of support, enhance, upgrade the human creativity, but not likely or not supposed to replace it. So we now come to this second part, where we are expecting our discussants to make their remarks, and I would request the discussants to make a brief and succinct remarks so that the speakers can respond to that. And first I would like to invite Ms. Ritika Gandhir. She is a PhD scholar at the Humanities and Social Sciences Department at IIT Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and she is interested in South Asian graphic narratives and memory and trauma studies. She holds CELTA and has taught English at the International Language School of Canada, and she has worked with Khabar Lahariya briefly in the past on their newsletter, and she also interested in Iranian cinema and modern poetry. Ms. Ritika Gandhir.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank NBT and SCO for this opportunity to attend the conference here, and it was really a pleasure to listen to all the comments the panelists have made. As Kumar Vikram mentioned, that my work is based on graphic narratives. My question is also around the same sort of field. My question is although open to the panel, but I'd like Saloni and Anna to particularly remark on it. Regarding comics in India, Indian comics are now making a lot of brave choices in terms of the themes they like to talk about, the visual registers they like to present in their work. And given the number of limited publishers who would take on such experimental writing, who would take on maybe a risk in publishing such comics, so there is an increase in self-publishing, which is, a viable alternative if publishing houses do not accept certain kinds of comics or styles of comics. In such a scenario, can self-publishing truly be an equal alternative to established publishing houses like Penguin, HarperCollins? And there is certainly a gap between the two, and how is it possible to perhaps mediate this gap? That's my question.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. So I get your point, when it comes to comics. Comics are very, very expensive books to publish because they are 4-color books, and also because they are fully illustrated books as opposed to, say, words. But Penguin is sort of, and I'm sure other traditional publishing houses as well, we are putting out quite a few illustrated narratives in the market, and I think this year itself we have had some some anthologies of comic books. We recently published one where we had around 20 voices coming together in one sort of book, and they are comics. But maybe, of course, you can always pitch your book to a traditional publishing houses and hope that they pick it up. But I know it's tough. So yes, of course, self-publishing there is a good way to sort of proceed. And I see a lot of sort of artists on social media platforms who put up their work on Instagram on a daily basis, and they get so many likes and views on it. And what happens is that sometimes, and of course, like I said earlier, all traditional publishing houses are also businesses, right, where they also need to make money from the products that they're selling, which is in this case a book. Sometimes what happens is that when you self-publish, your books or what you have created becomes really popular amongst your audience. And then, because it has sort of generated that kind of interest, a traditional publishing house might say, oh my God, this is, an upcoming artist, and let's sort of invest in them. So definitely, if you are somebody who's starting out, put your stuff out there, see what your audiences feel. You're also testing the water in the end, right? And who knows, once you have created that kind of engagement with your viewer or your reader, you might get, you will definitely, somebody will pick it up and publish it and make it into a book.
Comics is not my cup of tea, but I see that in bookstores there are lots of comics in Russia. As for self-publishing, the main problem is promotion, because you can publish it easily, but then you must create a promotion company or campaign to that your book will be you can see your book on bookshelves in bookstores.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next discussant will be Faizi Abdul Kalam, and she is also a PhD scholar at the Humanities and Social Sciences Department at IIT Delhi, and she has worked in NCERT and helped in developing curricular materials in English textbooks for classes 7 and 8, and she has also been an English and French instructor during her master's and research work. Ms. Faizi Abdul Kalam.
Hi, good morning everyone, and thank you. I would also like to start by offering thanks to NBT and the program organizers, and thank you for the speakers as well for offering a really illuminating session. My question is also slightly related to what Ritika has asked, but particularly I wanted to ask about what you think as writers and as like part of the publishing process. What do you think about the new reader public? What do you really think, as in from the change between print culture and to, let's say, this online reading culture? Do you see like a lot of change? Because let's imagine in the previous print culture, a reading public would have been national perhaps, or more sort of localized in a certain way where we can offer them boundaries. But now with the proliferation of internet, there is the reading public has, as you also mentioned, it is translocal, it is transnational, all of that. So do you really think in this democratization process we are over-relying on digital infrastructures? Does that offer a danger in the formation of the reading public, or is that a purely beneficial thing?
No, I think that, I think it's a very dangerous trend where young people are sort of on a daily basis consuming a lot of content online. And of course, we have seen that, reading habits have sort of reduced. They have gone down from what they used to be, say, 20 years ago, where all of us would pick up thick paperbacks and sort of read them, right, in 2 hours. Like, that's what we grew up doing. But now attention spans have gone. They have been impacted in a very big way in our country. And people definitely sort of, they sort of prefer watching Netflix maybe, or consuming reels on Instagram, rather than picking up books. And yeah, and I'm happy even if they're reading content online, that's a great win. At least they're reading something. But what we have seen is that, people are increasingly sort of not reading. So that's of course, that's something that, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it mostly does. I also just wanted to add, there is this participative community of readers, or particularly in online content.
Right.
But it also seems to me that, of course, we are also growing up in this generation. The community, the reading public around this online content, the networks are increasingly fragile as opposed to, let's say, the printing culture. Appreciation of a printed book, or even, as you said, consuming that book online even, that creates a stronger bond of conversation, of community, understanding, appreciation. Whereas in online content, because of the reduced nature, because of this drastic loss of attention span, all of that, the bonds have become extremely fragile. But yes, thank you.
Next discussion, Ms. Asmita Pandey, and she is a researcher and teacher in literary and cultural studies, pursuing her PhD at Jamia Millia Islamia on participation, transculturality, and consumption in fandom, a study of the Korean wave. Her work brings together fandom studies, participatory culture, digital economies, and transcultural exchange, with a strong focus on the intersections of media, society, and popular culture. She has taught at Jamia Millia Islamia and the University of Delhi. Ms. Asmita Pandey.
Yes, I would like to first of all offer my gratitude for NBT and SCO to organizing this and having me here. It's really interesting to look at the discussion at the point where we are talking about what exactly is the importance of cultural exchange in a globalized, digitalized era and age, where digital publication and social media become a very important part of cultural exchange. And so the question that I would like to pose would be on what exactly would be the definition of an author in an age of digital media and social media, where we see that the authorship of a particular text is not only limited to the source text, but is rather also being remixed and recreated on multiple levels in forms of memes or reels that are being created online, or the kind of remixing that is happening through a particular source text. So what exactly would be the, how would we trace who would be the author of this particular text? Would it be the source text or the current memer who is going to create and recreate the meaning of the text? And what exactly then is the meaning of authorship in this particular context? Because is it something that becomes a more collaborative and more networked kind of activity which invites participation from everyone who is online, especially when online publishing and online creation is dependent upon circulation and publicity. And so how exactly is this interaction that is happening in this new public sphere affecting the authorship?
In Russian, the author's idea isn't protection by the legislation as an idea. Pieces of your book are protected by the legislation, by copyright. So this kind of mixed creation, like memes or reels, I think it's a discussive question because I'm a lawyer, but I haven't seen such precedents in our court system. These problems, I think, are very young because all this media is young too.
Could you give me some examples by when you say that, you know, it's being sort of remixed and...
So, for instance, if we are to take a particular novel, yes, let's talk about the Harry Potter series, right? Yeah. So there's, of course, the original text that we have, but there's also a lot of, let's say, fan fiction that's being written around it, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of fan participation that is happening online. They're creating a lot of memes. They are using these characters. They're using these trends that have been created by a certain author. But then who is the author of that fan fiction? Because is it coming from that particular source text, or is it coming from that author who's writing as a fan, or is it that memer who's creating the characters and creating a, you know, recreating whatever has been given out?
So, you know, that's why it's called fan fiction, right? That's the reason why it's called fan fiction, because it is what it is. It is fan fiction. You know, you're a fan of J.K. Rowling's writing, and you want to create a parallel story by, you know, on what she has done, but you don't, you know, whatever, you can have so many different sort of theories and stories in your mind, and you want to create that, and internet has given you that outlet to do it. But you are not, that doesn't make you a published author, because that is not an original idea. That is something that you have taken from somebody, and you're using their characters. What she has done is that she has created an entire world. And that's something very difficult to do in fantasy writing, right? Where you create an entire world, where you have new food, whatever, everything is new, right? And so that's what she has done. And now you have sort of picked up from there, and you have sort of gone into another direction and said that, oh, maybe this is what the story should have been. And that's exactly why it's called fan fiction, and that does not make you a published author. You know, you just continue to do that then. You just continue to sort of take snippets from published work and sort of go into different directions to see what you can find there.
Yeah. Would you like to respond to any of these queries which have been raised? Would you like to respond? No? Okay. So before I request the chairperson, maybe if anybody has any remark, 1 or 2 questions we can take from other participants, if there is anybody who wants to ask something. Yes, please. Yeah. You can come on the first seat. It's already vacant. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think my question sort of resonates with the presentation of Javlon. How
can you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, yeah, I would do that. My name is Khushi Atolia, and yeah, my question resonates with Javlon's presentation and how he sort of tried to talk about how digitalization has created a larger community of readers, how it has helped reading become more accessible, more like a habit which you know, people from every strata can perform per se in today's world. So as much as I understand Saloni's concern with the idea of distraction and digital publication, I think digitization also makes reading more accessible, and not only accessible, it will also combat the costly nature of hard copies, which is, you know, not everybody can afford it, and it would help people from all stratas like develop a habit of reading. And I think then also adding on to the question of fan fiction, don't you think that sort of community that exists online on Reddit and on you know, Instagram, where people are continuously discussing all of the books which have been published online or offline or however, I think it sort of digitization in that sense helps the growth of creative spaces. I think, in my opinion, it helps the proliferation of reading habit. It helps the people understand the importance of reading, the importance of storytelling. So if anybody of you would like to add to that.
So I think you're talking about two things here. One, you're talking about e-books, right? So you have your, you know, you have a published book, and that has now been converted into an e-book, and you're reading it on Kindle. That's great. I mean, you know, you don't have to buy paperbacks, hardbacks anymore, and you can just, you know, read it on wherever, whatever website you prefer. But I think what we are talking about is that this has also sort of given, you know, this has also sort of put forth the concerns that come with AI-generated content and with self-publishing. Now, self-publishing is very different from, say, you know, your e-books, you know, where e-books are maybe, you know, they have been, and I'm not saying self-publishing is bad. It's very empowering, you know. You can now, we are in this age where you can, you know, publish your stories and your poems and your prose, and you can get like 10 people to read it. And it does happen that sometimes self-published authors become really popular. You know, they get 70,000, you know, views or whatever, 1 lakh views, and traditional publishing houses then buy rights to those books, put them through the, you know, editorial process, and then bring them out as, you know, their own books. So it's a great platform. All I'm saying is that the kind of responsibility that traditional publishing comes with, you know, where we feel the need to put these narratives through this rigorous sort of editorial process, I feel that that should also happen when somebody is self-publishing something. All I'm saying is that the internet is a very dangerous place where anybody can say anything, and that can generate a lot of, you know, a lot of hatred, and, you know, it can sort of influence ideologies, and it could influence young minds. And that is where the issue comes, right? Because, like I said, literature is just not for entertainment. It is also to educate. You know, we all read to sort of increase our knowledge base. And what if that doesn't happen? Because young people are, you know, increasingly going online and reading whatever they can get. So, I mean, you know, e-books are great, where, you know, you're publishing something online. That's a great trend. But I feel that some kind of check has to be in place where content online is concerned, so that there are, you know, somebody is responsible for it. Who's responsible for what we are consuming these days? Nobody is, right? And you don't even know sometimes who these authors are. They're anonymous, right? Definitely, I mean, Goodreads is a very good example where people discuss books, and also you get to know more, you know, more about the new books that have been released. So those are great examples and great websites. But I feel that where AI-generated content is concerned, and you know, content that does not sort of fall into that, you know, things that you should or should not read, I think that's a gray area. That's all.
Ji, please.
Thank you very much. This is Dr. Sonu Saini from JNU. I have a question to all the panelists, Mr. Javlon and Ms. Anna. My question is to you that we have seen, like in Russia or Uzbekistan, people are now shifting to the e-books or the tablet or like on mobile phone. So earlier, like, people used to have books in their hands in metros, in bus, tram. what is the current situation, and how do you think that, what do you think, like, whether it will be totally replaceable, like the books will be replaced by e-books in your countries, in Uzbekistan and in Russia? And I have a question to Saloni ji as well. Saloni ji, like as editor, like we also have a journal called Critique in Center of Russian Studies, which we are editing these days, and we are also handling a lot of issues of AI generated content. How do you tackle such kind of situation when author says that, oh, whatever like I have written, that is my content, but AI tool is saying that it is AI generated, but that there is a disclaimer that it's not 100% sure that it is AI. Even the name also, we also, you know, sometimes think like how can it can show the name also in AI. We understand like the algorithm behind that the person may have put everything into AI and ask it to reformulate or maybe correct the grammar and all. Sometimes they say that I just had the Grammarly, I just used the Grammarly only, but of course, like, and we understand like Grammarly and then AI reformulation through AI in Grammarly is a different thing. But how do you tackle such kind of situation? Because these are the very challenging job, I can understand. Yeah.
Do you want them to answer your question first?
Yeah, I have question to all three. You, the moderator may decide how.
Yeah, maybe one by one you can respond. Yeah, thank you.
Спасибо вам вопроса. В Узбекистане много людей, молодежные люди прочитают книги, но сейчас молодежные прочитают много онлайн-бук. Онлайн-бук, как похож, у вас есть платформа Мутала, похоже Audible, сейчас 3 миллиона участников есть у нас. Много людей работает, много людей, но они время мало, слушают они аудиобукс. Но наш в первую очередь большой люди издательство книги очень хорошие любят. Сейчас в Узбекистане книжный маркет каждый год новые сферы. Каждый год наш книга, мировая книга или издательство, наш очень много людей прочитают онлайн или много журнал, газеты или другой сайты. Наш в Узбекистане есть много литературный сайт. Сайт тоже прочитайте. Спасибо за ваш вопрос.
Most of my equals usually read e-books or read books on their mobile phones. But I regularly see people with paper books because my friends are writers, and writers I know are my friends, and lots of writers read paper books. As for me, I like reading paper books because I think it's special sense, because it has it smells, it is very technically and beautiful. So I prefer paper books. As for platforms for e-books, in Russia we have two big platforms, Reader.ro and Litras, where all the young authors, all people can put their e-books, but there is pre-moderation for content.
So I think you should confront your authors, you know, when they say that they have written something and it's very obvious that, you know, they have put it through an AI. an AI software. I think how you can identify AI generated content is that it's very technical. And, no human being writes like that, to be very honest. If you're writing a story and you're going, you're not sort of reaching the focus, what you really need to say, then you know that it's AI generated. There are some softwares that you can sort of run your text through. That is one option. There is also a plagiarism software that you could look at. And I think it has a yearly fee that you need to fill, and then you can show them, because it gives you a report. So it will give you a report saying that 50% of this text has been plagiarized from such and such source. So it will also give you the source from which the text has been taken. So I think that could be maybe a good investment for you to look at. I think that's the easiest way. And of course, if your authors are not agreeing that, that they have done this, then maybe you can rewrite some of their work as editors, and you can say that maybe, we want to make this less technical. It's too technical for my reader. And that's a call that you can take as an editor. And you can say that, why don't we write it like this? Because it sounds better. And that's something that we do, I think, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have chairman's remarks to be given, so maybe this discussion we can keep continuing, and I hope we will be all around. And before I invite our chairperson, he's the chairman of National Book Trust and is a distinguished academician with over 30 years of experience. He was professor of electronics engineering at University of Mumbai, and he has authored many books, research papers, and contributed to National Education Policy 2020 as a very distinguished member of the committee that worked upon it. And he's worked with NCERT and contributed to NCERT and served as an education administrator in various capacities. He focuses on promoting a vibrant reading culture through books and digital content, recognizing the evolving habits of the younger generation. In the Amrit Kal, he foresees books and the habit of reading assuming a more substantial role in nation building. Sir.
Thank you, Kumarji, for my kind introduction. And being a student of technology, I am a bit leaned towards technology, but I know the limitation of technology also. Now the topic was very engaging, presentations and the question answers was really thought-provoking. Now if I want to go for a quick summary of all these things, actually the digitization is a change of medium. The same thing was questioned when the printing machine was invented, or even television was invented. Then the things were said that the newspapers will be closed down because the live news are available to the consumer. But it didn't happen. I think it is the same type of question about AI and human author. Now when I was listening to our young author from China, actually he said that we are human beings and we share same emotions across the globe. And shared future is our common concern. Then Javlon, he very widely expressed about the overview of reading, authorship, reading culture in Uzbekistan. And in the last question when he answered, he said that 3 million e-books and audiobooks are popular in Uzbekistan and people are going to listen the audiobooks. So that is the trend. Similarly, 1,000 active writers, 10,000 new books, and Tashkent Book Fair like a festival of reading and books. So that was a great, what you can say, overview of Uzbekistan as far as the writing and publication is concerned. Now, when Anna talked with us, to us, actually she has a very clear opinion that the AI makes a lot of mistakes, and which is a very true. Then she also tried to answer the question of authorship, which is a common question in today's AI-driven atmosphere, that who will be the author? What is the authorship? And in the Russian Federation, she has very clearly said that AI doesn't have a copyright because AI is not a legal entity. So it was a very clear and a legal support is there in Russian Federation, which is very nice. And I also feel that all the countries should have to reframe their legal structures to give some of the questions about the AI and human authorship. So she said it very, one point she told, and it was very appreciable for me at least. She said that what AI is doing actually. AI is summarizing your writing, but when I say summarizing your writing, actually it is summarizing whatever is available on the net. It may be a writing, no doubt, somebody must have written it, but it is summarizing the complete data which is available on the net or in the public domain, you can say. So it is also summarizing the experiences, but he cannot generate new things. That is one very important thing, and that's why her comment was very suited. She said that you can use AI generated material for professionals and serious readers, but definitely not for beginners, because beginners cannot take responsibility ultimately. So that is a very, very, very valid point she mentioned, that for professionals, they are free to use AI generated material, but definitely not for beginners, because they are not very much aware about the authenticity and everything. When she was commenting about this, one small thing came in my mind. Suppose I am a student of a district government school, and somebody is a student of private top-notch school. The atmosphere, the teacher, the material, everything is different for these two students. But according to me, the teacher's experience, whatever they told to that student, whatever is available to him, ultimately he has to decide what is correct and what is not correct according to his own experience. Can I say that the material generated by AI is also not equivalent to different teachers and different surroundings and material available to an individual? Ultimately, an individual has to decide, he has to take the accountability that I will use this because of this, I will not use because of this. In that process, he can make a mistake also. For example, if a teacher has told me a wrong thing, then I took it at primary level that it is correct, but later on I realized, and they say, oh no, sorry sir, what you have said, I'm not accepting that. So actually the AI world today, can we equate it with that? With the accountability has to be taken by the individual. So definitely it is for professional readers and definitely not for beginners. Then Anna has also commented about the co-authorship, and she told that in 2024 it was a half writer and half chat GPT, that authorship, co-authorship she has used the word. So that is also a very unique thing which they have started, but legal entity of AI is not there in Federation of Russia. Then Saloni madam, she gave the complete, what you can say, plus and minuses of AI with reference to the Penguin, very popular and very authentic and very great publication house. Democratization of material is the uniqueness of technology. Anybody can go to the net, just type, or you can go for give a prompt and you will get information. Right, wrong, that is your assessment. So that is the democratization. So that is one positive point about democratization of content. Then she said about the global voices, and there is no hindrance of the intermediate steps between my feelings, my writings, and my reader or my viewership. For example, a young man may not have an idea about what the publication house, what are the procedures over there, how I can publish my book, but he can start writing on internet or on social media, and that will be read directly to by the readers. So that is, the global voices can be heard directly. That is also a very important advantage of AI or the social media. Then self-publishing is also part of it. Some similarities. So the self-publication has also now, I think it has come to the state that it will remain now as a self-publication. Now when there is a negativity of the AI, she said that there is a rigorous quality check processes in publication house, which makes the published book by a good publication with a high quality. Affordability I will not talk at this point of time because the cost is involved. Because as she said, number of processes are involved, legal people, editor, designing, everything, production. So affordability is a different issue. Then another thing that the publisher has to integrate the content for good of the society. And that's why that is a very important aspect, that no lopsided writings will be allowed to go to the reader. So that is the very important role of a publication house. So she said about the content sensitivity, then she said about political balance, then she said about it should not generate hatred, then emotional surges has to be, what you can say, integrated in a proper way. So these are some of the advantages of publication, that is material which is not AI generated. So that is the whole aspects which our honorable presenters have put forth. Now there are some another different views also. Now whenever a publisher say that I am balancing the political philosophies or political balance, then there is a counter argument that you are biasing a particular ideology through your books, because ultimately the people who are trying to edit that, they will have their own ideas. They are not machines, so it will be human dependent. And so there is a possibility that you may deliberately hide some actual content with facts and figures under the name of political balance. So there is a question to the editors and publications, and then the AI people or the social media authors say that it's that we can write whatever we want. Now it's your responsibility to see. So that is also one important aspect why there is a, what you can say, writings on social media. Many times you will find that in social media you will find a title, journalists will not show you this information. Under this title they will write whatever they want. I don't say that it is all correct, but the basic idea is there is a bias about journalists also, so they are saying that we are like a free journalist. So that is also one aspect. But to conclude, it is AI is emerging. It has got its own advantages, but definitely we should consider that whatever is generated by AI is not at all correct. So that first point we have to keep in our mind. Then second point, what we have to keep in mind that storage of different material, retrieval can be done very nicely by the AI. But how a human being understand the things? Input material, retrieval, thinking. Here is the one point. Second step is discrimination. About what he is reading, he discriminates and then he comes with his own idea. And then the knowledge is gained. So the discriminatory power is absolutely absent in AI because it is gifted to the human being. That is the first thing. Second thing is AI cannot have emotions, feelings, bhava, chitta, originality, creativity, inquiry. All these are the human being qualities, and so AI cannot replace human being or human author. Now to conclude, what I feel that we need to understand that each one of us, we are special and has tremendous inbuilt creativity. I'm talking about creativity. So we need to keep our creative intellect alive and believe more on our artistic intelligence. Somebody can say it as an actual intelligence of the human being. And artistic intelligence and actual intelligence can be short formed as AI. It is also can be short formed as AI. And that's why our artistic intelligence or our actual intelligence will make us special and will separate us from artificial intelligence. So we have to be thinking about the balance between two AIs, artificial intelligence and artistic intelligence or actual intelligence. That's my viewpoint. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think these last words were very important, and I think, in such session, I always get reminded of a very famous quotation of Picasso. I think we had discussed it earlier also. During Picasso's time, computers had just started coming. And he once said that, I don't like computers because they can provide only answers. Yes. So with this, we come to the end of this session. And before we end it formally, I would request all the three discussants to kindly come on this dais for a group photo and also for felicitations. And Ms. Saloni Mittal will also felicitate it. She came a little late. Please come on the dais, please. I would request the volunteers to bring the mementos and the shawls. Thank you. Please join us for lunch, and after lunch we come back for the next session. Thank you.